There was once a tzaddik, Rav Meir Yechiel Halevi of Ostrovska, who met the Rav of Vilna, Reb Chaim Ozer Gradinsky, and Reb Chaim Ozer asked the Rebbe to give a Dvar Torah. The Rebbe responded with a very, very deep and sharp Dvar Torah, and Reb Chaim Ozer was very, very impressed, and he said, Reb Yechiel Meir, you are a Gavra Rabbah. Reb Meir Yechiel responded that someone who could say a deep and sharp Dvar Torah isn't a Gavra Rabbah. Then asked Reb Chaim Ozer, well then who is a Gavra Rabbah? Let me ask you a question, asked the Rebbe of Ostrovska, that there is a Gemara in Makos on Daf Kaf Beis Amud Beis, Amar Rava, Kama tipshai sha'ar inchi. Kama tipshim rov ha'olam. Dekayeme mekame sefer Torah, who would stand in front of a sefer Torah, velo kayeme mekame gavra rabbah, but who wouldn't stand in front of a fine Talmid Chacham, a gavra rabbah. She'ilu b'sefer Torah ksiv arba'im yakenu, va'atu rabbanan Batzru Chada. Speaks about 40 lashes. Rabbanan came along and turned the 40 into 39. The Rebbe of Ostrovska asked Reb Chaim Ozer, why did the Gemara wait until the pasuk b'mispar arba'im to bring their proof text? Why didn't they bring their proof text from a previous pasuk, Tisperu chamishim yom, in Parashas Emor, that their Rabbanan said to count 49 instead of 50. Good question, said Reb Chaim Ozer. Well, what's really the teretz? So Rav Meir Yechiel explained that turning 50 into 49 is a very, very nice drasha. But it really didn't impact on Jewish life. But to turn 40 into 39 and thereby remove the suffering of a Jew by removing one of the makos, that's a Gavra Rabbah. So I think that when I compare my life to your lives, I've spent my life, Baruch Hashem, learning, teaching Pshat in Gemara, Rashi, Tosfos, Baba Kama, Gittin, Sukkah. It's a nice Avodas Hashem. But you've spent your lives building communities, and you've spent your lives dealing with the life cycle of your congregants, and you've spent your lives ameliorating the suffering from your fellow Jews. You're the Gavra Rabbah, and so I appreciate the opportunity that you're giving me to speak to you. The title of my Drasha today, Ein Yeush Ba'olam Klal, is attributed to Rav Nachman of Breslov. This past week I was Mesader Kedushin for a student whom they call a neo-chassid. That's a term of the 21st century. And we spent an hour dancing to those words. And I'll speak about it at the end of my drasha, but I'd like to begin a little more classically, if possible. That we find a very, very interesting phenomena when we look at the halachot of Chodesh Elul. For example, on the source sheet that you have in front of you, if you look at source number 1, Kitzer Shulchan Aruch, so when he talks about Elul, he begins with a description of the background, why are specifically these days in Elul considered to be Yemei Ratzon. Then, what I skipped to fit everything on the page, he deals with the minhagim of Slichos, and then, after the 3 dots, he continues, Harav Adonenu Reb Yitzchak Luria, Zichrono Livracha, the Ari, Katav, V'asher lo tzada, v'ha'elokim ina liyado v'samti lecha, that those last 4 words, Roshei Tevot Elul. Lomar ki chodesh zehu eit ratzon lekabel tshuva, al chataim she'asa kol hashana, gam ramaz al hashgagot shetzarech lasot tshuva b'chodesh zeh, like the Rotzeach B'Shogeg goes to an Ir Miklat. And then he continues, Od Amru Dorshe Reshumot, Umal Hashem Elokecha et levavcha v'et levav zarecha. Again, we have 4 words, Roshei Tevot Elul, V'chein, as we're all aware, ani l'dodi v'dodi li, Rashi Tevot Elul. V'chein ish l'reyehu matanot le'evyonim, Rashi Tevot Elul. Now, why is this all here? This is not a Bnei Yissaschar. This is not, it's a Kedushas Levi. This is a Sefer Halacha of the Baal Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. Why in the world would he bring in all of these remazim, all of these hints that we find in throughout the Torah Shebichsav in terms of Chodesh Elul? And it's not only the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. If you look in source number 2, the Avudraham. The Avudraham is a Rishon. What does he write? Hadarshanim Omrim Smach Ladavar. If you want to understand the uniqueness of Elul, we have a remez. Ani l'dodi v'dodi li Rashi Tevot Elul. And he continues, Sofei Tevot Dalid Yudim. Each of those words ends with a Yud. Mispar Arba'im brings us to Yom Kippur. V'chein umal Hashem Elokecha l'levavcha v'yet levav zarecha Rashi Tevot Elul. V'chein, he brings like a long shot. Uva l'tzion goel u'l'shavei. If you take the last 2 letters of the word goel and the first 2 letters of the word u'l'shavei, shtei otiyot achronot shel goel, shtei otiyot rishonot shel u'l'shavei, harei elul. And we find something similar in the Shalah, and we find something similar, of course, in the Ari himself and the works of Reb Chaim Vital. What exactly is going on here? These remazim come from all over, from Shmos, from Devarim, from Shir HaShirim, from Megillas Esther, from Sefer Yeshayahu. So there was a very, very special Talmid Chacham and a Baal Hashkafa who lived in Yerushalayim, who spoke English, but who didn't give Drashot in English. His name was Rav Moshe Shapiro, Zecher Tzadik Levracha. He passed away about 1.5 years, and now they're beginning to put out his Ktavim. And he had a very interesting insight, and you should know that most of what I'm going to say today is built on his insight. So if you like it, you could say, I heard a good Drasha of Rav Moshe Shapiro. If you don't, you could say, I heard a Drasha of Dovid Miller. Okay? But his insight was that these remazim parallel a phenomena that we find in the first of the remazim itself. The first remez that the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch brings is from the parsha of Ir Miklat. V'asher lo tzada v'elokim ina aleph liyado lamed v'samti vav lecha lamed Rashi Tevot Elul. That in the world of Ir Miklat, and if you look at source number 3, we have an interesting halacha. Tachin lecha haderech, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, or actually says Moshe Rabbeinu, in the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'shilashta et gvul artzacha asher yadchilcha Hashem Elokecha, v'haya lanus shama kol rotzayach. That we not only have a halacha of setting up arei miklat, but tachin lecha haderech. And Chazal tell us in Masechet Makot, u'mechuvenet lahem drachim, that all the roads led to the arei miklat. Tanya Rav Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer, miklat haya katuv al parashat drachim. At every cross-section, at every point where you can go in one of 2 directions, there was a sign, this way to the Ir Miklat, Kedei Shiakir Rotzeach V'yifneh Sham. Amar Rav Kahana, Mai Kra'a. Where do we find this in the Torah? Tachin lecha haderech, aseh lecha hachana laderech. Prepare the way for the Rotzeach to be able to flee to the Ir Miklat. So it's as though these remazim are sort of serving as signposts. No matter what we're learning, whether we're learning Shmot, or whether we're learning Devarim, or whether we're learning Megillat Esther, or we're learning Shir HaShirim, or we're learning Sefer Yeshayahu, wherever we are, we have a road sign to remind us that we're supposed to run, we're supposed to flee to the Ir Miklat in Chodesh Elul. And if we need a proof text that this concept of fleeing to an Ir Miklat is a theme, a mainstream theme of Chodesh Elul, let's look together at source number 4. Source number 4 is the beginning of Sefer Sha'arei Teshuva of Rabbeinu Yonah. And there, in Sha'ar Aleph, in Seif Aleph, Rabbeinu Yonah begins, Min ha-tovot asher heitiv Hashem yitbarach im bruav. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us a tremendous, tremendous favor. Ki heichin lahem haderach. Again, the words are coming from the Torah. Asher tachin lecha haderech, ki hechin lehem haderech, the association, the lashon nofel lashon, from the world of Ir Miklat, la'alot mitoch pachat ma'asehem v'lanus, and to flee, like to flee to an Ir Miklat, to flee to a refuge, mipach pish'ehem. Namely, that we're dealing over here with the theme, and the ramazim are the signposts to the theme. No matter where we are in life, no matter where we're holding in life, there's going to be a remez which is going to relate to this phenomena of having to view this period of time as a period of time where we, it appears to be, are the rotzchim b'shogeg, and we have to flee to a city of refuge. What exactly is the connection between Teshuva and the world of Ir Miklat? So Rabbeinu Yonah continues in Sif Beis with a very, very well-known mashal. He writes, Vida, I assume that I don't have to translate. Vida, ki achotei asher yit'acher lashuv mechatato, yichbad alav ma'od onsho b'chol yom. Every day, having not done tshuva, is an additional burden on his shoulders. Ki hu yodea ki yatzah ketzef alav. He knows that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is upset with him. V'yesh lo manos lanus shama. Again, the Ir Miklat, he has where to run away to, where to escape to. He has a haven. He's not stuck. V'hamanos hu tshuva. V'hu, he chooses not that path. V'omed b'merdo, he no b'ra'ato. U'biyado latzeit min ha'hafecha. The ability that we have to do tshuva is a two-edged sword. On one hand, it's a tremendous favor. On the other hand, it's a responsibility for which we have to pay if we don't take advantage of the favor. For not taking the option of tshuva seriously and realizing the consequences. Va'alkein ra'ato rabba. Atkan, overview. Then, Amru Rabotenu Zechanam V'racha L'inyan Hazeh. There's a medrash in Kohelet Rabbah. Mashal lekat shalistim shechavasham hamelech bebeit ha'asurim. Okay, we have these prisoners in jail. Chatru machteret. They tunneled out. Partsu vayavoru. Almost all of them left. Nishar echad mehem. One prisoner remained in the cell. Basar beis hasohar v'ra'a machteret chatura. Ha'ish hahu odenu atzur. When the jailer came and saw the situation, vayachoto b'makehu. He hit that individual with his staff. Amar lo ksheyom, you fool. Halo hamachteret chatura lefanecha, ech lo miharta himalet al nafshecha. How did you not take advantage of the tunnel to leave? And this is the mashal for tshuva. It's very, very strange. Here we have a law-abiding citizen. We have an individual who took his prison sentence seriously. Right? He was sentenced for 5 years in prison. Only 2 years have gone by. All of his friends, they decide to break the law, and they decide to escape from prison. And he is a law-abiding citizen who accepts his sentence. And so what does he get? He gets punished by the jailer for remaining in prison. And that's a mashal for tshuva. What over here is the mashal, and what is the nimshal? I'm on purpose setting up, where it's the mashal in a manner which is not the pshat in the mashal, because the jailer hitting the individual is not at all a punishment. It's not a punishment, but rather, by that individual's remaining in prison, by his not fleeing from the prison, what he did was that he destroyed the prison. Namely, he is being hit by the jailer for destroying the jailer's life. The jailer is in charge of that prison, and he has destroyed the jail. He has destroyed the jail. A prison is a place from which an individual must flee the moment he has an opportunity. And if he doesn't flee, then that's a sign that it was never a prison in the first place. And so he is being hit by the jailer for destroying the jailer's jail. If you want a mashal hediot, Rav Nosson Sharansky Shlita, wrote a very, very special book. In English, I think it's called Fear No Evil. In Hebrew, Lo Ira Ra. And in that book, he explains the title. That when he was in Siberia, there was a period of time where he made his jailers very, very upset, and they began taking away everything that he had that had a vestige of a connection to Judaism. They took away whatever wax he was saving for Hanukkah. They took away whatever strings he was saving to make tzitzis. They took away his tehillim that he had yet from his wife, from Avital. They took away everything, and they kept coming in to see what more can they take away. And at one point he said to them, you should just know, I'm not afraid from you at all. That there's nothing you can do to me. Nothing in the world you can do to me. If you kill me, I'll return to God. I'm not afraid of you. The next day they returned everything. Namely, that without the fear, it was simply not a prison. It didn't make sense any longer for them to take anything away. He beat them by saying that he simply, Lo ira ra, I'm not afraid. And he changed the entire setting from his being a prisoner to his being in charge. I'm in charge of my life. You can't do anything at all to me. Before returning to Teshuva, just an aside, I know this is being or recorded for the rabbis in the RCA in America, and I hope that they will take what I say not as a criticism, but when I was a kid in MTA, and I read Sha'arei Teshuva for the first time, I thought to myself that this mashal really applies to the world of galut. Namely, that if I have a chance to leave, and I decide to stay, then I do not view myself in galut. In other words, that this is not galut, this is my home. And that's a very, very troubling sort of insight. I tend to think that it's correct, because how can you ever learn from galut what is geula if you're happy in galut? But also, it would help explain the whole mered, the whole revolt against Yom Tov Sheni. At a certain point, we're not in galut. Why are we doing this? Particularly when they come to Eretz Yisrael. But that's just an aside to just put myself on the table. That's what I feel very strongly. But in any case, returning to the world of Rabbeinu Yonah and Sha'arei Teshuva, Rabbeinu Yonah is telling us is that a sin, by definition, an individual who is chotei, by definition, should feel that he is in prison, should feel that he is in a place that he should not remain in, should feel that he has to run away from that situation at the very first opportunity. This is simply not where I should be. If you think of what the world would be like, the Jewish world would be like without an Ir Miklat, you're dealing with a frightening reality, right? That for the Rotzeach, normally, every human being is protected in some manner by society. He's protected by a system of law and order. He's protected from a government against someone who wants to harm him, with one exception, that the Rotzeach, even if he killed inadvertently, he is free game for the Goel Hadam. Recently there was a series of books, The Hunger Games, for instance, movies as well. In other words, the sense of being a fugitive and no one is going to protect you, and if you're killed, okay. In other words, no one is going even to be punished for that, because it's not a crime. That there's no check and balance at all on the Goel Hadam, and therefore this Rotzeach has absolutely no protection. There's no place where he's going to feel safe. This is Cain, right? That Cain called out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'haya kol motzi yahargeni. I'm hefker, and the whole world is dangerous, and I have to keep fleeing, and my life is under constant threat. And the pasuk says that Cain finally dwelt in Eretz Nod, Kidmat Eden. That was the first Ir Miklat, as Rashi quotes Chazal, Eretz Shekol Hagolim Nadim Sham. And this is how a Jew should feel with his chet, namely that it puts him in an untenable position, that he has to change his situation. He has to flee from being in mortal danger. And if he doesn't flee, then kanere, he feels comfortable in his situation, using the mashal of Rabbeinu Yonah. He doesn't see sin as a prison. He doesn't see himself in prison. Then he is really, really lost, and then he really needs these road signs of the Ir Miklat to remind him of the whole situation that he puts himself in. Viewing it from this perspective, we can understand the Rambam. The Rambam, how can you give a drasha on Hilchos Teshuva without quoting a Rambam? But the Rambam I'm quoting is not in the Mishnah Torah, but in his Perush HaMishnayos. Specifically, there are two Rambams. If you look at source number 5, we have a Mishnah in Masechet Rosh Hashanah. Ha'over lifnei ha'teva b'yom tov shel Rosh Hashanah. If we view the two Shlichei Tzibur, the Shliach Tzibur of Shacharis and the Shliach Tzibur of Musaf on Rosh Hashanah, where do we find Tekiyot? Hasheni Matkiya. That the Tekiyot are found in the Musaf rather than the Shacharit. Ubishat ha'halel rishon makriyat ha'halel. And had we been dealing with a day on which Hallel would be said, then the first Shliach Tzibur, that of Shacharis, would have been the one who would have recited the Hallel. So the Rambam explains the language of the Mishnah, Amru Bishat Hallel, in a time when Hallel would have been said, Lefi she'ein korin Hallel lo b'Rosh Hashanah v'yom lo b'Yom Kippurim, because this is all theoretical within the context of Masechet Rosh Hashanah. Lefi shehem yemei tefillah v'hachna'a lefnei Hashem v'yir'a mimenu. These are days of awe. V'nisa elav, or I put on the side what I view as a more authentic translation of the Rambam, umivrach umanos elav. These are days in which we should feel that we are fugitives, that we have to flee. We have to change our situation. We can't remain who we are. We have that is not an option for us. Mivrach umanos elav. Utshuva v'tchina mevakeshet mechila. Namely, not only does Rabbeinu Yonah use the imagery of the Ir Miklat, the Rambam himself uses this to explain the crescendo, the end of the 40 days of Tshuva, the days of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. These are days when we should feel the manos. We should feel that we are in a prison in which we can't survive. That we have to find an alternative, that we have to answer the question of Rabbeinu Yonah, Ech lo miharta hi malet al nafshecha. How can we just ignore the situation that we have put ourselves into? Now, we can ask ourselves, really, why is it? I mean, we are human beings. Why, if the Rabbeinu Yonah gave us the mashal, and it's a powerful mashal, the Rambam also uses the same imagery. We have this association with the Ir Miklat. We know the sense of the fugitive whose life is at stake, and we're being told that we are these individuals. So why really do we not do tshuva? Realizing the consequences, having seen all the road signs, having had the warnings of Rabbeinu Yonah and the Rambam? The answer is yeyush. That we despair of tshuva. That we have the yeyush of acher, of Elisha ben Avuya, that we've gone too far, that tshuva is no longer an option for us. We don't have any Ir Miklat. Tshuva is for people who sinned lesser sins, but God knows us and we've gone beyond the red line. That's one form of yeyush. I don't think that is the yeyush of most individuals. I think the yeyush of most individuals is one of attrition to a certain degree. Every year, we really want to be choser v'tshuva, and every year we fall back and we realize that we're addicted, and we realize that we're overwhelmed, and we realize that we've tried this so many times and it's really an exercise in futility, and so we may go through the motions. We may even cry in the Ila, but deep down, we're just not there. It's just not for us. And if it means that we're gone, so we're gone. What does one do in such a situation? Is there an antidote to this yeyush? Is there something really behind Rav Nachman's statement that ein ba'olam yeush klal? So I think that we can perhaps look back at the road signs and see that really there is one more remez that we haven't yet touched, because it's not found in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch or in the Avudraham. It's not found in the Ari. It's found in the Baal HaTurim. And it's found in Parashas Nitzavim, so we haven't reached it yet, in Parashas HaShavua. Okay, so if you look at number 6, source number 6, the Baal HaTurim on the Pasuk Es Levavcha V'es Levav, that we've already seen, Umalat Levavcha V'et Levav, Rashi Tevot Elul, and the Baal HaTurim points out, L'chein nahagu lahashkim litpalel slichot me Elul va'elech. Then he continues, V'chein, I have one more remez. V'chein lulei he'emanti l'rot betuv Hashem, lulei, if we'll switch the order of the letters, we'll be a bit dyslexic, lulei otiot Elul. That we also have a remez for Elul in this lulei he'emanti l'rot Hashem. Lulei he'emanti. If we view this pasuk in context, I think that we, in our generation, we certainly, unfortunately, can very much identify with the feelings of Dovid Miller when he wrote this parak in Tehillim. If you look at source number 7, look at the pasuk that immediately precedes Lulei he'emanti. Al titni b'nefesh tsarai ki kamu bi edei sheker v'fach chamas. Lulei he'emanti l'r'os Hashem be'eretz chayim kaveil Hashem, etc. That we live in a world, and David HaMelech lived in that world, and if you want to, I guess Jews have lived in that world, but maybe nowadays we feel it a little more because of the nature of the media, where we are battered as a nation. We're battered with Edei Sheker, we're battered with Vifeach Hamas, we're battered with lies, with fake news, that's what it's called, with false narratives, that we're in this situation where the entire world, except perhaps for Nikki Haley, are just lying about what we are doing here in Eretz Yisrael. That we're just under siege for living that which we believe in. And lulei he'emanti, without our belief, we wouldn't be able to stand up to it. It's fascinating to hear Jews who are not religious speak about their ani ma'amin. Ani ma'amin b'tzidkat darkenu. I believe that we are in the right path, that we believe in the righteousness of our cause. But moving it over from the world of the Jewish people to the world of the individual in Chodesh Elul, I think that we can also understand that there is no way of being able to overcome Yeush except with Lulei he'emanti, except with a level of emunah. What is the context of our emunah in the face of being overwhelmed? Lulei, in other words, in the face of being overwhelmed by the nefesh, by the tsarai, by the kamu be'edei sheker, yivhei hamas. Our context, of course, is number 8, the Gemara in Brachos on Daf Yud Beis Amud Aleph. Amar Rabar Bachina Nasaba Mishmei Derav Kol Shelo Amar Emes V'Yatziv Shacharit Ve'emes Ve'emuna Arvit Lo Yatsa Yedei Chovato Shene'emar Lahagid Baboker Chasdecha Ve'emunatcha Baleilot. That in the time of Laila, in a time when we feel overwhelmed, in a time where we can reach a level of Yeush, we have to constantly remind ourselves of our emunah. And what is that emunah that we remind ourselves? Number 9, the emunah kol zot v'kayam aleinu. Firstly, hu Hashem Elokeinu ve'ein zulato. Okay, we remind ourselves that we have a protector, that we have a Kadosh Baruch Hu. But in addition to that, V'anachnu Yisrael Amo. We remind ourselves of our emunah in who we are, in the uniqueness of our connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Anachnu Yisrael Amo. This is the emunah that underlies so much of our lives. I said that there were 2 Rambams. One Rambam was the Rambam that we read in Masechet Rosh Hashanah. The second is also in Perush HaMishnayot, at the end of Masechet Ta'anit. If you look with me at source number 10, the Rambam wants to discuss the uniqueness of Tu B'Av. And the Rambam says, Ubacharu Yom Chamisha Asar B'Av. Why was that chosen as a unique day in the Jewish calendar? Shebo Paska HaMagefa Mimetei Midbar B'Shana HaAchrona Min HaArba'im. As we're well aware, Haya HaMavet Mitrabe Bahem Kol Tisha B'Av. Every year they would dig graves. Every year they would enter the graves on Tisha B'Av. Every year a percentage would not survive. Ubashana ha'achrona pasak. V'nisharu mitzapim ad chatzi hachodesh. Maybe they misread the calendar, the date. And when it was clear that Tisha B'Av had passed, what does Rambam write? Az batchu b'nafsham v'he'aminu ba'atzmam. Then they felt anachnu Yisrael amo. Then they felt that there was something within them and their relationship to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is going to carry them through for the rest of their lives. Az batchu b'nafsham v'he'aminu ba'atzmam v'hirgishu ki ritzon haborei, and they higishu bo, ritzon haborei, they felt a smile from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'nigmar hacharon v'nistalek mehem. They felt a connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'lachein asu oto me'az Yom Simcha. The Yom Simcha is not because they stopped dying. The Yom Simcha is that they changed their perspective on how they viewed HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu and they are now one. That there is this connection between them and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They are Amo Yisrael. Anachnu Yisrael Amo, and that means everything. And that enables an individual during Chodesh Elul to rise above the Yeush, because there is a different connection. Yeush is on a level of nature. But if I have a connection which goes beyond nature, using the terminology of the Das Tfunos, that I have a level of hashgacha, which is a level of yichud, which goes beyond that which I deserve, then I have a chance. Then there's already an ir miklat. Then I can view my sin as a prison, but I have the ability to escape from that prison, to link in to Anachnu Yisrael Amo, to link into HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What we can do then, at this point, I think, is to be able to connect the dots, to be able to connect the various road signs. If we're starting off with the road sign of the ir miklat, that we have a perspective on chait, that this is an untenable situation, I cannot remain as a chotei. This is simply where I am not supposed to be. I'm in prison. This is not me. This is not a situation that lends itself to any to any sense of permanency. I have to get out of it as quickly as possible. Then we can move over to the lulei he'emanti. I can move over to the world of emunah, to the world of my connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and from that move over to ani ledodi v'dodi li, that anachnu Yisrael amo, that this sense of amo is the sense that connects me to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, starting not with ani ledodi, not that if I come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he'll come to me. That's the second pasuk. The pasuk ani ledodi v'dodi li is in Perek Vav of Shir Hashirim, Perek Zayin of Shir Hashirim. But if we go back to Perek Beis, there we have the pasuk of Dodi Li v'Ani Lo. That's where it begins. It begins with the love of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is always there. All HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants is our response. He just wants, he's smiling, he wants to smile back. That's what we find over here in source number 12. Just skipping for a moment, source number 11, we'll return to it. Dodi li v'ani lo, hu li le'lokim v'ani lo l'uma. The moment that I have that relationship, we're on a different plane. Hu li le'lokim, ani Hashem Elokecha, ani lo l'am v'uma, hakshivu elai, ami u'le'umi elai ha'azinu, hu li la'av v'ani lo leben. Again, with proof texts. And then, banim atem Hashem Elokechem, amar Rav Yehuda bar Rav Eloi, Hu zimrani v'ani zmartiv. He sings about me. He walks around whistling about me, and I whistle and I sing about him. Hu kura'ani. He gave me the following appellations: Achoti, Ra'ayati, Yonati, Tamati. V'ani amarti, Zedodi v'Zerei. we have a love story, beginning with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with us responding, Hu amar li hinach yafa rayati, ani amarti lo hincha yafe dodi afnaim. Hu amar li ashrecha Yisrael mi kamocha, ani amarti lo mi chamocha be'elim Hashem. Hu amar li umi ka'amcha Yisrael goy echad ba'aretz, v'ani miyachedet shemo b'chol yom pa'amayim shma Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem echad. That we have over here a relationship which goes beyond the yeush. If we go back to source number 11, this is what we say every morning, or hopefully in Korbanot, Le'olam Yehei Adam, that we should be honest about our situation, that honest with ourselves, Ma'anu Machayenu, that on one hand, looking at ourselves, it should bring us to yeush. Hakol Havel. However, Aval Anachnu Amcha B'nei Beritecha. The moment that we put in Ki Anu Amcha, that we are your nation, that changes the entire equation. And that's the reality of Lulei He'emanti. That's what the road signs are telling us about Chodesh Elul, that we have over here this option of a change of perspective that will bring us to the Ir Miklat. There are those who want to put this into the Modeh Ani that we say every morning. When we conclude Modeh Ani, we say Rabbah Emunatecha. That Rabbah Emunatecha is not necessarily our emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to begin with that, but Rabbah Emunatecha, you have such a belief in us. You believe in us. You know that we can do it. And then we can respond with Lulei He'emanti. But the first step is Rabbah Emunatecha, that we know HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tesha'anu Amecha, that you view us is in this unique relationship. There is a very, very beautiful explanation of what appears to be a stira towards the end of Parshas Shoftim. If we look at source number 13, we have, we know at the end of Parshas Shoftim, the parsha of the Kohen Mashuach Milchama and of the Shotrim who come to explain who should remain in battle, who shouldn't remain in battle. Vayosifu hashotrim ledaber ha'am. We read in Perek Chav Pasuk Ches. V'amru mi ha'ish hayarei v'rach halevav yelech v'yashov lebeito v'lo yimas et levav echav kilevavo. Who is this ish hayarei v'rach halevav? So Rashi quotes one day, but there are two deos in the Gemara. Rabbi Akiva in the Gemara says, K'mashma'o, eino yachol la'amod b'kishrei milchama v'lerot cherev shlufa. We're dealing with an individual who cannot see blood. We're dealing with an individual who will not be able to deal with the level to which he has to raise himself in order to be able to fight in battle, with an individual will simply faint, and he will not be able to protect his nation. Such an individual is told to go home. Rav Yossi Haglili, however, and this is what's quoted by Rashi, says, Hayarei v'rach halevav, zehu hamityarei min averot shebiyado. We're dealing with an individual who knows that he doesn't deserve to be watched over by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and is afraid that putting himself in the situation of sakana would be his death sentence. Ish hayarei v'rach halevav, this individual should leave the battle. But only a few psukim earlier we read, V'omar aleichem, that the Kohen Mashuach Milchama spoke to the nation and said, Shema Yisrael, Atem krevim hayom ramilchama la'yevechem, al yerach levavchem. You should not be afraid. Why should you not be afraid? So the Gemara explains, Amar lehem Shema Yisrael. He started his speech, his pep talk to the nation with the word Shema Yisrael. Ma'ishna Shema Yisrael, Amar Rav Yochanan mishum Rav Shimon bar Yochai, Amar lehem HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael. Afilu lo kiyamtem ela kriyat Shema Shachris va'arvis, don't worry. As long as you're connected to me, nothing will happen to you. Shema Yisrael, as long as you say Kriyat Shema, Shachvis v'arvis, iatem nimsarim biyadam. Rashi quotes this as well. How can Rashi quote in Perek Chav Pasuk Gimel that as long as we say Shachris, as long as we say Kriyat Shema, Shachris v'arvis, we have nothing to worry about, and yet a number of psukim later, Rashi tells us that the individual who's yarei v'rach halevav mityarei min avederat biyado. Why is he mityarei? The Kohen already told him, don't worry. You said Kriyat Shema Shachris v'arvis, you're in a good place. I'm not mistaken, I saw the name of the Kutzker, but maybe it's said by others as well, that he was medayek If a person defines himself as his averot, a person views himself as a Baal Avera, I am, my mahut is averot shebiyado, then nothing is going to help. That's the individual who's living with his yeush. I don't know how I can change my situation. I'm no longer able to fight my chait. If I can't fight my chait, if I can't fight the way I define myself, how in the world am I going to battle against an external enemy? But if someone defines himself as Shema Yisrael, as we saw that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Mi Kamcha Yisrael, and he responds, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, he feels the kesher to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he knows he's not stuck in his situation. Such a person both has the ability to fight for his own definition and has the ability to fight in a battle. Namely, that these are all the signposts of the Ir Miklat. This is what it means to be in Chodesh Elul, to be able to connect the dots in order to be able to be nas to the Ir Miklat, in order to be able to find our way back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to be able to say, have a chain, to start with the concept of Ir Miklat, to recognize the untenable situation that Chet puts us into, the need for Emunah, Lulei He'emanti, to come out of that Emunah with Anu Amecha, that we are HaKadosh Baruch Anu Amo Yisrael, that we are Ish L'Reyehu Umatanot Levyonim, we're a unique Am of Reya. We have a relationship of Reya to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we have a relationship of Reya one to another, and this brings about the Ani V'Dodi Li. This is all, L'Chora, the Teshuva of Ein Yeush Ba'olam Klal. When I looked at the OU schedule in the Torah Tidbits, I saw that today at 12:30, my Machut and Reb Chaim Bravender was on a video here. I assume there's a room upstairs that has videos, dealing with the Teshuva of Rav Nachman Breslov. So I said, okay. That this is the Teshuva of Rav Nachman Breslov. Now, the Saba of Shpoli, he was very opposed to Rav Nachman Breslov and claimed that he's a great man, but he's before his time. But his time has come now. Namely, that we live in a generation which is not the one that we were born into. We were born into a generation where we would hear Teshuva Drashas of the Rav that would put Teshuva into very, very special conceptual concepts, and we would try and work with our minds in order to be able to link in with those concepts of Teshuva so beautifully put out in such a meaningful structure with such originality by the Rav. And it's a generation that responds to that ahava. The challenge, of course, is to take that ahava and to channel it into real Teshuva. That it shouldn't just be fluff, it shouldn't just be guitars playing in slichos. It has to be more than that. It has to be an internal change, but you can start with that. That's how Rav Kook defines Teshuva in his Oros HaTeshuva. He speaks about the fact that the Teshuva, the real Teshuva, is the Teshuva Eloi. You start with your kesher to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and then you work down to the various averos. If I have such a kesher, I'm embarrassed by this avera. If I have such a kesher, it doesn't go together with my behavior. I have to change my behavior in order to maintain and to develop the kesher. This is the generation in which we are currently in. This is the linking of the dots to get to Ani L'Dodi V'Dodi Li. But what's fascinating is that the Avudraham, we pointed out, had one last remez. He had one last remez that we viewed as like a bit off the wall, from Uval Tzion Goel U'Shavei, to take the last two words of Goel, the first two letters of Shavei. But this is our generation. This is a generation of Geula. This is a generation in which we're coming towards the end of history as we know it. And it's going to come from the Elul, from the Ir Miklat, from the Emunah, from the Ani L'Dodi V'Dodi Li, will bring about Uval Tzion Goel U'Shavei, a Teshuva that will bring in Yirtzeh Hashem a Geula, because it's a Teshuva coming from the depths of the individual rather than from any other point that we have. So in Yirtzeh Hashem, Kadosh Baruch Hu should give us all the zechut to have arichus yamim, to have briut hanefesh, briut haguf, to be able to enjoy this period of Jewish history in which we have a very, very unique form of connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we should all be zocheh that the Gula will come in the Hirav Yameinu Amen.